Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us for tonight's team call. It is March 5th. That's like crazy. The year is going by so fast. We have a really special guest tonight who's going to talk to us about Instagram. So make sure you have a pen and paper down and probably your phone. But we're going to start off with some quick announcements, then we'll jump right in. So obviously, if you have been living under a rock, the Ultimate Portion Fix is now available for current coaches or new coaches that you sign up. You can also get the certification if you have any questions about that. Just watch all the videos, or obviously you can ask your upline coach. The release for customers will start on March 18th. Once you purchase, you'll get an email. I got an email today to be added into all of Autumn's groups and the certification groups. So keep a look out for that stuff. April 1st will be the live version of 21 Day Fix. And I think I have in the Coach Online office, I found this fun little calendar. So April 1st will be when 21 Day Fix real-time workouts comes out. The Extreme will start April 29th, and then everything will be added May 31st. So unless you purchase between now and then, you won't get it until pretty much June. And then here's the dates for when the coach groups start. Pretty much just get it and you'll be added into it. We're going to do a team challenge group, obviously, for the Ultimate Portion Fix. So it's going to have two components, right? It's going to have the nutrition part and, the 21 Day Fix part. So I need to know from you guys. I know Jillian asked and there was crickets today, of when do we want this group to start? Do we have a lot of people on board now? So maybe in the chat, if you guys can, do you guys want to start this group on Monday being, hold on, my calendar's coming up, March 11th, or do you want to start the group on March 18th? Then we'll kind of go through the nutrition with them. And then April 1st is when we'll start the 21 Day Fix live with them. So let me know, do you guys want to start this Monday coming up or next Monday for our team Portion Fix / 21 Day Fix challenge group? I posted obviously a lot of information of how you can invite people to this. I'm sure we'll get a lot of great tips tonight as well, but check in our team page how you can, invite people to this, get them into that info group, and then that's where they're going to be then placed into the challenge group once they purchase, right? Apparel sale for autumn stuff is 40% off, I think, for the rest of the month. Stuff is going pretty fast, so if you want some stuff, hop on that now. Last chance sale for Summit tickets. Obviously, it's went up from last month. So right now it's at $165. After this, it's going to go to $175 and then just kind of keep going up from there. And then we have our team dinner tomorrow night at Cafe Paleo. Sorry, guys, if you are not in New Jersey, make your own team dinners, right? You don't have to live here. Get some of your girls together and get together. But if you didn't RSVP yet and you still want to come, let me know so I can change the reservations. So that's all I have for announcements today. If Ashley.
Hi.
There you go. All right. I'm going to mute and you can take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Rose. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Tonight we have a special guest. Her name is Kayla. I gave an introduction to her in their team page today. I randomly found Kayla, or Kayla found me on Instagram, because that's what she does. She is an Instagram expert. Just to give a little background, she is an Instagram and business strategic for network marketing. So she works with primarily network marketers. It seems like her niche is more coaches, like Beachbody coaches. It seems she's finding a lot of them, specializing in building relationships and converting your followers into customers without using the Hey Girl message. I'm pretty sure I sent Kayla a Hey Girl message. So without further ado, I know I've learned a lot from her. I highly suggest following her on Instagram. She gives a lot of awesome free tips and on her Instagram that are very simple to use, that I'm always using on my Instagram. So tonight she's going to give us even more insight on how to convert those customers of yours and how to start those conversations. So Kayla, welcome and thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey guys, how's it going? Awesome. So let me get this little screen share going. Awesome. Nope. We gotta go back to the beginning here. Come on. Always technical difficulties. That's just how it goes. Come on. Let's try this again. All right, take two. Awesome. So I'm going to talk a lot about some basics and some non-negotiables for really making sure that your Instagram is a client attraction magnet. And then we can go into some growth and engagement hacks that you can focus on to get more eyes on your stuff, especially while you're pitching and showing up, getting people in your challenge groups for this new program. So just a little background on me. I grew up in upstate New York and I live in Chicago with my family. My background in marketing is actually, I did a lot of freelance for Disney stars in the mid to late 2000s. So my fellow millennials, I did a lot with like High School Musical. And when those singers went on tours, I did a lot with that. So that's where I got my marketing and promotions start back in the MySpace days, back when we did marketing on there. So I've been involved in network marketing since 2011. I'm still a Beachbody coach. I just don't actively build it, but I'm familiar with the terminology and the ranks and all that good stuff. So why should you focus on Instagram? And of course, this little photo box here is like blocking half my text, but I know what it says. So with over 800 million users on Instagram, with 2/3 showing up daily, Instagram is really where you need to put your focus. Facebook has its perks, but as far as finding people to get in front of, Facebook, you really have to pay to play. And I don't think you should be putting your money into that. I think that you should be focusing on Instagram because you can get in front of so many people organically without ever having to pay to boost a post. You also have so many features and capabilities to connect, build authentic relationships, and even sell directly on Instagram. So the relationship building potential really is endless, but there's really a lot that goes into it, with the basis being you have to be consistent and you have to build trust. And part of that is setting up your profile to really speak to who you're looking to help. So some of the things we're going to talk about today are figuring out who your ideal client is, do's and don'ts of hashtags, how to make your bio really pop as an ideal client magnet, because of course that's who we want to attract. We don't want to attract a bunch of other coaches and spam bots and other creepy dudes. Engagement boosting tips, and then at the end I have a really cool little trick that you can do to get around like 40 plus followers before you go to sleep, and not just junk, targeted followers. So that's a fun one I love sharing. So the first thing to really think about is, who do you help, right? Now, move the picture box, now I can see better. Your customers really have to be clear on you being the leader, the authority, and the expert for them. And to figure that out, it really starts with doing some reflection of what you want to show up as far as an expert, who you help, what problems do you solve, what do you want to be known for. So when you're going back and watching this recording, just jot down these questions and really take the time to answer them, because if you are getting a lot of crickets, if you are getting ghosted in messages, if you're not getting any, sometimes if you're having invites where you don't get any interest whatsoever, it's not necessarily that you're not doing something right and you're bad at what you do. It's often that there is just a disconnect between people understanding who you help and how you help them and the solution that you provide. So when you're clear on this, your messaging is clear, and people definitely start to understand your vibe, what you do, and you're going to get a lot more yeses and a lot more interest. So why you're not getting the results that you want right now on Instagram is you're relying too much on inspiration marketing. And this is one of the most popular ruts that health and fitness coaches and network marketing get stuck in. And how you can tell you're stuck in this rut is if you get a ton of people that say, you're so awesome, you're such an inspiration, I love what you do. But then when it comes time for people to follow through and work with you, they disappear. And that often is because you're not attracting the right people that you want to work with. And again, because they don't trust you enough yet. So working to build that trust is something that takes time. And that's why I'm such an advocate for shying away from behavioral messages, other than it's part of my brand. So I hope everyone doesn't stop doing it, but we try to go from the knowing you phase to the trusting you phase in one swift DM. And then it might work one random time. But the reason why you have to send 200, 300 messages to even get one reply is because people haven't had a chance to really get to know you and to like you and to trust you yet. So of course, they're not going to make a purchase decision from you. Something else, let me back up here. Lack of consistency. So if you're not showing up consistently, and I'm not talking about just consistent with your workouts and your nutrition, showing up consistently, showing your life, showing the behind the scenes of what you do, especially if you're looking for business builders, people want to know what it is you do behind the scenes. So even those little details that are so monotonous, you're like, no one cares about me taking my dog for a walk when I take a lunch break. Like, people do want to know that. They want to know what is a big part of what you do as far as your job, not just the products that support you. Another thing that happens is a lot of coaches end up copying other coaches. They're like, oh, well, so-and-so's at the top and they post this, so I'm going to take that little post and copy paste it, throw it on my page, and I'm going to be just as successful as them. But what happens is we don't know what they do behind the scenes. We don't know so many things about why they're excelling, and copying them is just, again, going to put you in that cookie cutter area when that's not what you want to do if you want to set yourself apart and really establish yourself as that authority and that leader on Instagram. And then again, trying to sell before your audience trusts you. If they don't trust you, they're not going to buy from you, because when they make a purchase, they're investing in you. They're not just buying products. So how can we start to make that first impression? Like, boom, having a magnetic client attracting bio is definitely a non-negotiable. And here are some things that used to be a big deal back in the day, but they really need to be on the outs if you want to be an authority, an expert, and a leader on Instagram. So leaving out the personal attributes, your audience wants to know what's in it for them. They don't care that you have 3 kids, dog, mom, love coffee, Target. I mean, that's great, but they want to know what you can do for them. Something else you want to avoid saying is that you're a Beachbody coach. 2 main reasons. The first one, if someone had a previous poor experience with a coach, they will write you off immediately without even getting to know you. Another reason is you are so much more than just a coach. The products support you, not the other way around. So you really need to be the face of your brand, the face of what you're doing, and not just throwing that title on it, because you are so much more. So what should you have in your bio? Using a mission statement, and this goes back to that question I asked earlier, is what do you want to be known for? What solution do you provide? So thinking very specifically about this, and this takes time. Don't feel like you have to think of it right this second. But as an example of a mission statement that you can put in your bio that's very specific, I help millennial women lose their post-college 15 pounds. So that's very specific about who you help, millennial women, and what result do you provide? Help them lose the post-college 15 pounds. And of course, you'll help a lot of people do a lot of things, but really think about, what do you like helping people do? What have you had the best success doing? Maybe you help people with more mindset shifts than weight loss. Maybe you help people with binge eating, emotional eating, more so than just focusing on weight loss. So that's what you would want to put in your bio. And then of course, if you have a link, you always want to have a call to action, but you have to be specific about why we should click it. Not just work with me or something vague like get in the best shape of your life, because that's very vague. It's not specific. What's going to entice me to click it? Maybe you created something that will be like a grocery list. So download my grocery list, download my guide to lose 10 pounds if that's what you like to help people do, is weight loss. So be very specific and think about putting yourself in their shoes. What would you get excited to click and download? We want it to be specific, powerful, and direct. When it comes to your bio, clear always beats clever. So also avoid using the frou-frou lingo that we use in this industry that your audience isn't going to understand. Only the Beachbody bubble gets it. But you're not trying to reach the Beachbody people. You want to reach people that are new. So use their language and say things how they understand it. So here's some examples of some awesome ladies in the online space who are killing it with their bios. So Evelyn, I love her. So I help female entrepreneurs transform their bodies so they can show up confident online. So she's very specific about who she helps and the results that she helps them achieve. And then I like her call to action, ready to build your dream physique and grow your business. Click the link. And then Megan's here. I help online coaches sign ideal one-on-one clients they love and create passive income so they can travel and live fully. And both of these ladies have since updated their bios numerous times from when I made this. That's what's so great about your bio. You're not married to it. As you evolve, as your brand evolves, as your customer base evolves, definitely change it to reflect that. I'm pretty sure mine a couple months ago was I help like influencers grow on Instagram and kept it as that. And now I made it very specific. And sometimes you just change it a little bit. So specific is better when it comes to this. I get asked a lot about highlights, so I wanted to include that. I don't feel like highlights are going to be a groundbreaking thing that you have to do right this minute, but it is nice for the aesthetic. They do look pretty. They are visually pleasing. So if you're going to focus on them, I think there's a right way to do it. Always avoid using text and use icons or little pictures instead. Of course, the main reason being when we're looking on our phones, the text is really tiny and you know what it says because you created it, but someone who is giving you that 2 seconds to win them over, if they have to squint to read text, they're moving on. So icons are awesome. They're universal, whether you're half asleep, no matter what country you're in, you know what those icons mean. So here's just some examples of ways that you can incorporate icons. You can easily make these in Canva. It takes like 2 minutes, super duper easy. Or of course, if you want more intricate ones, you can definitely outsource and have someone on Upwork make them for like $10. Because it kind of depends on the look you're going for. If you want to add more gradient colors that match your brand and your aesthetic, go crazy. But just avoid the text, and then any type of background, like definitely no stripes or like what is it? The little triangles that people like to do. It's just way too busy and it takes away from what you offer. So simple is better when it comes to these. Hashtags. So here are the do's of hashtags. And definitely this is a lot of info. So if you want to go back and watch it, totally get it. But as a general rule, you want to use all 30 hashtags and put them in the first comment. Niche hashtags are always better, the more specific. And for you guys, I definitely recommend getting creative and staying away from fitness hashtags. They're just getting overrun with other coaches, people in other health and fitness industries, and it's definitely becoming a lot harder for you to attract who you're looking for when you're focusing on fitness hashtags. So as a rule, I would go back to the drawing board and get rid of those and try to think more about what types of things does your audience look up when they're curious about something. If they're going down the Instagram search or hashtag wormhole, what keywords would they look up? Again, thinking about their language and avoiding lingo that they would not look up or understand, and only other people in your industry would. Because when you use those, you're only attracting other coaches or me because I'm looking at those. And then I'd like to even break this down between staying between 10,000 and 100,000. But let's say there's a hashtag you really like that is between 100 and 200,000 photos in it. Definitely use it, but lower end of this is definitely better for performance, I have noticed lately. And then don't use the Beachbody hashtags. No Sean, no Autumn. I know that Beachbody wants you to use the Ultimate Portion Fix. If you want to throw the hashtag in there, but focus mostly on the ones that are going to reach your audience, because again, the only people looking at those hashtags are other coaches. The spammy hashtags, the one that have millions and millions of pictures in them. The reason why you don't want to use these is your post gets buried within seconds, and the only people that perform at the top are celebrities and viral accounts. So you want to be strategic with these because hashtags are one of the main ways that you're going to bring new people to your page. Another thing you want to avoid doing is using the same hashtags on every post. This can definitely send a message to the algorithm that you might be having some suspicious activity, and they just won't show your content to as many people. So we want to avoid that. We want to stay off the radar. Here's a wonderful example of my horrendous hashtags from back in the day. Don't use these. No, nobody finds you. Nobody. But it's funny. I'll laugh at myself. We've all been there. Curiosity marketing is also another great thing that you can do, especially with Ultimate Portion Fix, to get creative about sharing what you do without sharing those containers. Because I know your box is going to come in the mail. You're going to want to do an unboxing and lay it out and take a pretty picture like I did with Hammer and Chisel. But again, your audience doesn't care about those products. They want to work, when they make an investment, they want to work with you. They want your community. They have FOMO. They see all the trips you're taking and all this fun stuff, and they want to be a part of that. And you have to show the lifestyle. They don't care about the containers. So again, some of my old pictures that we can laugh at me. Don't pose with your Shakeology. Nobody cares. Here's a feature I think is very underutilized, and I think this is a great way to you can use this to keep track of maybe prospects or people that you're kind of warming up and maybe they're really interested in signing on to coaching and they're on the fence. So you can kind of use the close friends feature to only show certain things to them, like maybe more so about behind the scenes about what you're doing. And you can also use this feature for maybe just your challengers to talk about the day-to-day, maybe give more tips, and make this being a part of your close friends feature part of like a bonus for joining your challenge for the month, where you can give exclusive content, which is pretty cool. Because again, you're an expert in what you do and what you know, whether that's mindset, nutrition, weight loss, like the sky's the limit, and own that. So share your tips, share your expertise, and do it all the time because people love to see it. And again, this builds that sense of community, and that's why people love to join network marketing, is because they want to be a part of the Cool Kids Club. So a recent IGTV update, I think, makes IGTV worth putting the time into. Before, I honestly, when people ask me about IGTV, I'd say forget about it and just do lives. But with this new feature, you can now add not only a 1-minute preview to your feed, but you can pick a cover photo. So you can make it match your aesthetic. You can make it pop and really draw people's eyes to it. And from trying it myself and from other accounts I've worked on, your video viewership will definitely increase by over 200% without even trying, because now it comes up in the scroll, your videos. So this is such a great way to share your value content. So sharing your tips and tricks, sharing maybe a personal story, your why. This is such a great way. And then also, if you think it's an eyesore on your feed, which I totally understand, especially if you're type A and you're like, that looks dumb, keep it up for 24 hours. And then when you go to post the next day, then remove it from your feed. But it's still on IGTV. So I think it's definitely worth it. I love all that Shalene's been talking about this. I think it's a great way to add more value, more teaching, and get more eyes to your page, because the video views are going through the roof with this new update. So let's talk about some engagement hacks. So as a general rule of thumb with engagement, you need to be giving double the engagement that you want to receive back. And I guests all the time, I have no engagement. And then when I ask, how often are you going out and engaging on other people's pages? And then it's silence. So I recommend, as a place to start, give yourself 20 minutes a day to go out and engage on other people's profiles. It can be people you follow. It can be people you don't follow yet. However you want to break up your time, it's absolutely worth it, because that's how you're going to start getting more engagement back. Instagram loves when people use the platform for its purpose, which is to be social. Using your insights is also very valuable. If you have a business profile, check and see when your people are online. Make sure that you're posting at that time, making sure that you're engaging around that time. Because if they're on live and they're seeing your notification, they're a lot more likely to click it and go to your page. So everything kind of works full circle. So think about when they're online. That's when you should be sending any DMs. That's when you should be engaging on their stuff, when you should be posting. And then another way to really boost your engagement and streamline the Instagram process so you're not glued to your phone all day, every day, is create valuable content that resonates with your audience and repost it. Save that and bring it back once a month, once every 2 months. What's so great about Instagram is it is so passive that it is nearly impossible to be too repetitive. And people do need to see things a few times before they make decisions. What do they say? It's like someone has to see something 7 times before they make a decision to buy, minimum. So especially if it's something really powerful, like sharing your story and why you do what you do, definitely keep resharing that. And again, they want you to use all of their features. So make sure that you are going live, using their filters, using the GIFs and the polls and all that good stuff on stories. The more you use it, the better your post will perform in the algorithm, and you'll show up more in the feed for the people that follow you, which is the goal. We want to show up more. And then third-party automation apps. I know a lot of people are using like the STEM Social and Jumper Media and all this. That as a whole might give you more followers, but I definitely question if they're targeted followers, and it's going to kill your engagement in the long run. So I highly recommend just removing those apps and focus on doing this yourself. I'm definitely an advocate for outsourcing a lot of things, but not your engagement. I think you need to be doing that yourself. I think your audience can tell when it's a genuine comment from you and not just a bot or another person just throwing out comments out there. So here's engagement boosting tip number 1, using a hook in every post, using a call to action in every post. So what are hooks and calls to action? The hook is what you're drawing the reader in with, so you can do something and grab their attention, like you won't believe what happened today. Or one of my favorites is telling them what you're going to teach them. So my 3 tips to do blank. Because if you're just going straight into the story, if you're not getting their attention, they're just going to keep scrolling. So we really want to grab them. Call to action. One of the best ways to boost your engagement is to get more comments on your posts. And how do you get more comments? The most simple way is to literally tell people, I want you to comment below and answer this question. And I do this every single post. Ask them to answer a question. You can ask them to tag a few friends who would relate. You can host giveaways. And then of course, a call to action when you're really inviting is to send people to the link in your bio. And I definitely recommend putting in an application or something in there so that they have something to go to learn more. But these 2 are definitely non-negotiables for having successful performing content. So if you're not doing them yet, definitely start with your next post. Engagement boosting tip number 2 is DMing the people that like all of your stuff and comment all the time, and ask them what they want to see from you. This in itself is the number 1 activity that changed the game when it comes to my business. And this is something that a lot of the top influencers and online business coaches and everything are doing to create content that speaks to the people that they want to help. So I recommend, again, setting aside 20 minutes a day, even just to send a couple DMs. And just as an example, I know it might be hard to read, but I messaged someone and I said, I'm so glad that that post resonated with you. Is there anything else business or IG related that you've been stuck on? I'm working on creating content for the week. And she was excited that I asked. She's like, oh yeah, I have a lot of questions. Any tips on content strategies for selling without being annoying? So people loved giving their opinion. So I literally create all of my content based on what people tell me. I don't go by assumptions. I don't reinvent the wheel. I just say, hey, tell me, and I make content. And this is something that you can do as well, especially if you get a lot of that inspiration. You're such an inspiration, but they don't jump. If you get crickets, if you get ghosted, if the only likes you're getting are from your teammates and your mom, create content that really speaks to people. And just how do you do that? Ask them. A little algorithm hack to get your post to perform even better while doing this is do this right before you post. Because when you have a bunch of DMs that you're kind of sending, and by a bunch, I mean, don't spam, do like 5, your post shows up for more people. So there's a little hack for you to try. And then of course, I love voice memos and video messages. So many of your audience still doesn't know this is a thing, and they get excited when they receive them. So if you're not utilizing those, I highly recommend. It also saves you from getting text or spam, which happened to me in January, and it was very painful. So I highly recommend doing that. Another tip, this one can definitely change the game for you as well, is responding to all of your comments within 24 hours. Yes, even the spammy bot ones. Within that first 24 hours, that's really the life of your post. So focusing on the 24 hours, and then after that, you can if you have time, but it's not necessary. The comments that you get matter more than likes, and your replies count towards that total comment number. So responding within 24 hours, and I definitely recommend using more than 4 words because that performs better. And here's something else that you can do. Ask questions, because if you start little conversation threads in your post, that'll boost it in the hashtags that you're using as well. because Instagram's like, okay, there's a lot of comments, there's replies. So clearly this is valuable content that people want to see. I know in this industry, we do a lot of before and afters, and you have such a great opportunity to turn these posts into more viral content that has the opportunity to land on the Explore page and being at the top of your hashtags. And the secret to doing this is to put text on these photos. This really grabs people's attention. And I recommend doing dates and descriptions rather than just pounds lost, for example. So focusing more on maybe internal changes rather than the external. I know Megan's, this is one of her highest performing posts. So the highlight reel of an entrepreneur and the actual life. And then this post for me did really well as well. And I had a lot of good conversations about what you think you look like working on your business and what you actually look like. So kind of showing real life stuff people love and can relate to. So I recommend throwing one of these in every every 2 weeks, throw one in. You can do more, especially if you are in a launch time and you're pushing. But here's the thing. I don't recommend doing transformation photos of someone who you are not working directly with. Because again, if you want to stand out as an authority on Instagram, as an expert in your field, share your clients and your customers' successes and share your own. But if everyone is sharing the same stock photo, Beachbody transformation photo, it really makes it hard for you to stand out, especially if people maybe potentially follow a couple coaches and end up seeing the same photo. So if you really want to stand out, sharing social proof of your own doing is definitely key. And it doesn't have to be transformation photos. Social proof can literally be someone messaging you saying, "You made my day, thank you." So I wanted to add that in because especially when it comes to the launch of Ultimate Portion Fix, and I know everyone from the test group sharing their results, but I would really not necessarily feel like you have to push out those results to be successful. So here's a fun growth hack. Disclaimer, don't do this all the time because it won't work. I recommend doing this about once a month. But how it goes is you are going to pick a profile of, it can be an influencer, a blogger, a celebrity, or someone who has a following that you really want. So chances are it's probably not going to be another coach. It's going to be in a different industry. And what you'll do is if you follow them, you'll unfollow and quickly refollow, and then you'll see that suggested people to follow will pop up. You can also just click the little drop-down arrow on the right and just see the suggested without that. It works both ways. And you will see accounts that are suggested. So I recommend picking two to four of those to follow, and then repeat that on 2 to 3 more profiles. And how this works is when you do this little hack, your profile pops up as a suggested to follow when other people follow that blogger, celebrity, whoever. So you're going to get more targeted followers who are interested in that celebrity. So again, if you do this too much, it doesn't work. I've tried doing it multiple times in a day, multiple times in a week. The sweet spot is about once a month. And if you pick a few good profiles to do this, it's trial and error. You'll get a good bunch of followers, and they're not spam bots, they're actual people, which is pretty cool. So especially if you want like a nice little boost in your following number, I'm definitely someone that doesn't believe in just focusing on numbers, but we're human. A nice little boost is fun. So I wanted to make sure to include this. If you have questions about this, let me know. And I'm curious to know how this works for you. So definitely tag me on Instagram and let me know. So how can you get more information from me? This is my Instagram, so follow me, say hi. I also want to say, if you guys want to take a picture of us on this training and tag me on stories, I'm going to pick someone to do an audit of your bio. I'm going to do it tonight or tomorrow morning. So tag me, say hi, I'll share it. Social proof, that's a part of social proof. So giving people the FOMO. I do want to let you know we're a little bit early, but I'll be talking about this all over Instagram. My 5-day Stop the Hey Girl Challenge. Some of you might have heard of it from January. It was a lot of fun. I'm doing it again. Registration begins March 11th. If you are kind of liking what I'm talking about and really want to dig deep on some of these concepts, then this 5-day challenge I think is going to blow your mind. We're going to be going through actionable steps that get you results like right away, because that's what I love about this. And it's all about growing and being authentic and building genuine connections that turn into not just sales, even though I don't believe sales is an icky word, but I want you to feel confident that you're attracting your lifers and your builders. And we're going to do that through this challenge. I'm going to take you through the exact methodology that I used to grow my business and that I've been teaching for the past year. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that. And then I also wanted to mention, if you are like, okay, I don't want to send any more Hey Girl messages, but what the heck do I DM people? I created a guide of scripts that you can use for sending DMs, and I break it down by all kinds of different circumstances to kind of get you comfortable with how to DM people and convert in a way that feels good. And so there's the bit.ly. It's all lowercase, so scripts for IG. I definitely recommend checking that out. It'll help you out. But I want to open it up to questions. I don't know if we have any in the chat here. I'll take a peek. Awesome. I love that, Ashley. If I got paid for all the times I've been told, you're such an inspiration. Great. No, so it's so true. I'm so glad you love High School Musical, Rose. Oh my God, the best. One of the best times of my life. Awesome. But anyone have any questions?
Kayla, I think Alicia had one. I think it was the post, the side-by-side, the actual life versus what I really look like.
Oh, yeah.
Was that a post or story?
Yeah, definitely do it in a post. I think you can share it to your stories after, but I think it's most powerful in a post. I know I gave you a lot of information, so I know some people are probably like, I need to go to sleep now. This is a lot.
I was going to say more, but I guess I won't. Of things that I've learned.
I have a question.
Yes, hello.
When you're doing the highlights, the photos for your highlights, where, like, I know you had the icons on there. I have not yet figured out how to do those. I know you said, like, Canva or somewhere like that, but where are you getting the actual icons from?
Yes, it's, I actually made a tutorial. I'll send Ashley the link and she can post it in your guys' group of how to make it. And I show how to do it on my phone, so you can just make them easy peasy. So I'll send that over because it walks you through, because that'll explain it a lot easier than I could from memory right now.
Okay.
All right. I see. What tips do you have for sharing stories and what to share? I feel so bored with my own stories. That is such a good question, because here's the thing. You think it's boring because you live your routine day in and day out, but people are fascinated by what you're doing. I can't tell you how many times I was like, I've been sitting in a hospital room for 14 months. Like, why do people care that I'm just sitting here? But I get so many questions, and a lot of people really curious because it's interesting. So what you think is boring, other people are really curious about. Like, I'm very curious about the lives of stay-at-home moms because I've never lived it. Stay-at-home moms are probably super curious about the lives of people that work 60 hours a week because they're like, how does she do that and still get her workout in and do all this stuff? Like, I'm curious. So share the day in and day out. You can share what you're eating, share something funny, share what you're watching on TV. I think it's important to have a good mixture of the day-to-day, but also like teach something. So maybe you have something each day where you do like your clean eating tip of the day, or your mindset tip of how to make a bad day a positive day. So anything like that, mix it in with the day-to-day. And I think that's how you make your stories successful. Thanks, Wendy. Yes, Mallory, definitely. Rants. Do rants. I love when you're polarizing, that's good. So if you're really passionate about something, definitely show it, because you want to attract people that love your polarized view on things. So don't feel like you have to tiptoe around things you're passionate about, especially on stories.
Any other questions for Kayla?
Kayla, so for your IG stories, like, I personally hate watching other people talk. Like, I can't do it. And like, I know like some people, that's all they do. And I'm just like, ugh, I don't even do that. So is that okay because that's not my people, that I don't do that? Or should I just like, because I don't mind talking, not a big deal. But like, I personally, like, I can't stand like hearing someone talk for like 5 minutes straight on their stories.
Yeah, that's actually a really good topic. So I think it's kind of like a loaded question with a loaded answer. As a whole, I think you should definitely be talking on stories to a degree, but I like to think of it, if your story or whatever you're sharing is going, unless it's a pitch, I think a pitch can be a little bit longer, but if it requires more than like 5 15-second clips to get the point across, do it on a live or do it on IGTV. Like if it's a long story, just save us the time and do it that way. Or try to make it shorter. Try to give the Reader's Digest version. And with that being said, when you do talking stories, you have to be subtitling those suckers. Because again, some people don't have audio, they don't want audio, but otherwise, if they're just scrolling and you're talking, they're not getting any of it. So give us the Reader's Digest version, give us the bullet points. So even if we're passively scrolling and not fully paying attention, we're still getting the point. But yeah, if you don't want to talk a bunch, then definitely don't. Yeah.
Okay,
I think
cool.
it's important because we want to see you.
Get to know me. Yeah.
Yeah.
My second question is, I don't know if you've ever heard of Kelsey Chapman.
Yes, that blonde. Oh, she comes up. I see her ads.
Yes. So I paid for her to like run my Instagram, and yes, she got me like over almost like 12,000 followers, but they're all like, sorry, they're probably not on the call now. They're duds, right? So I'm sure I'm not getting the right followers, and I'm not being active in terms of like, I like Erica, like I don't comment on other people's stuff. Like I feel like my time is spent like not doing hey girl messages, but reaching out to people who are liking my posts, liking my stories that I don't have like. So my question is, because I know she does use some of like the apps to get me followers, and I know she's obviously aware that things have slowed down a little bit. So what tips, or one tip, what direction should I go in terms of, I think I have like a few months left with her anyways. Just do it on my own, like start just, communicating and commenting and being active myself would help me more.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Getting in front of more of your people is definitely going to involve taking the time to do it. But again, like 20, 30 minutes a day, maybe if you have a lot of extra time, an hour of just focused engagement, going into hashtags that your ideal client is using and really just starting good conversations. So not just commenting for the sake of commenting, leaving something a little bit more insightful, something uplifting, giving a compliment. But definitely, that's why I don't really care for those services, because yes, they give you numbers, but I tell people this all the time. I think we put too much weight on our follower count. I've worked with people who make 6 figures who have 1,000 followers, and people who don't even monetize their Instagram and have over 50,000. So it's definitely, the number doesn't matter if they're not people who are your lifers and are going to trust you and are going to want to work with you and make that purchasing decision. So I would definitely just 20 minutes as a start, because I think it's worth it to put it in.
Any other questions for Kayla? Doesn't seem like it. Kayla, thank you so much. Please follow her. Like I said, she gives great advice readily throughout the week. Her, what is it? Your not good light. What do you call it?
My unflattering light.
Your unflattering light.
The light's gotten better in this new room, so I haven't called it that lately, but.
So if you don't know, if you don't follow Kayla, I know I told all my coaches follow. Kayla's daughter has been in the hospital for the last 14 months. So that is her story and that she shared.
Over here, kind of behind the little IV pole.
Hopefully she'll be out soon, fingers crossed. So you can follow her story and hope and pray for her daughter as well. And Kayla is so positive for everything that's been going on in her life. So give her a follow. She's awesome. She gives great tips, and you can follow her daughter too. So thank you so much, Kayla.
Thank you for having me. Definitely shoot me a DM if you have any other questions, and hopefully I will, I'll see you guys in the Stop the Hey Girl Challenge later this month, because it's going to be awesome.
It was awesome. Thank you.
Have a good night. See you later.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.